passages extend to the left and right. Wherever we turn, darkness awaits. How about the left passage? As though we're inside a gigantic snake, the passageway twists and turns, stretching deeper and deeper into the mansion. We now stand in almost complete and utter darkness. Just a trace of moonlight manages to illuminate the path. I stop for a moment and realize it's now completely silent. I feel as though I'm being watched silently by every single being in this dreadful house. Taking a deep breath, I move on. And I set my foot down slyly. With the stealth of a cat, yet so valiantly composed, Kid follows behind in a stride. Drifting in and out of the shadows, the macabre figure of Magil looks out from behind. The Weaver of Fate has surely by now taken notice of us, cradling us carefully in her arms. After a while, the path splits into three directions. To the left is a descending staircase, while the path on the right extends into darkness. Another passageway lies ahead. Let's take the stairs. As I start to slowly descend the stairs in the dim light, I stretch my hand out in front of me to try and feel for something. However, all I'm greeted with is the moist feeling of these grimy stone walls. We've descended the staircase. To the left lies a huge stone archway, and to the right we can see a narrow path twisting into the darkness. And let's go through the passage on the right. The passageway makes a sharp turn to the right before stretching on through the subterranean maze. Before long, we're greeted with a beautifully ornate set of doors to the right. Strange. There's a distinct smell of flowers coming from here. Let's enter the room. We come to a comfortably decorated room. Small trinkets have been placed on the desk and shelves, adding some charm. The owner of this room has obviously gone through great lengths to try and bring a somewhat graceful lifestyle to this otherwise dark mansion. Still, the room seems to carry an unsettling stillness with it. "Bet it's Link's daughter's room," Kid says, surveying some of the items. The litter on the desk and the warm teacup hint of a woman living here. However, after searching the room, no one is found. All we find are various odds and ends. A beautifully arranged set of flowers, a white handkerchief carelessly tossed aside, a small bottle of perfume, and so on. Although the stuff really adds atmosphere to the room, none of it's really worth anything to us. Kid also seems to feel this way, disregarding most of the stuff in here. She picks up a small box, decorated with a serpentine coat of arms. However, like the rest of the items in here, it looks like it's of little worth to us. What should I do now? Let's check the dresser drawers. I open up the dresser. All sorts of differently colored garments have been placed in the drawer. Frills, lace, and just about every color of lingerie. "Wonder what kind of dress this is," Kid mutters, holding up a silk garment from the bottom of the drawer. Examining the dress, I can see she's fascinated with it. I've never worn anything like this before," she says, running her hands across the fine floral lace. She slides the dress down her shirt and pulls it up over her shoulders. After a moment or two of shuffling around, she undoes her shirt and I see her wearing nothing but the silk dress. She looks as graceful as a fairy with it on. "Wow, look at me. I'm a lovely maiden. Not a scrap of roughage on me." "None whatsoever. A perfect fit." "Aw, Serge, quit teasing," says Kid, blushing. "Come on, let's go," she says after a while, putting her old clothes back on with a smile on her face. From here, the passageway stretches to the right and left. Heading right will take us further into darkness, while turning left will take us back to the staircase. Let's head to the right. After a little while, the dark passageway ends at a polished, robust set of doors. Kid crinkles her nose in disgust. "Something strange about this place. It doesn't feel right, mate. Probably just my imagination, though." Standing here in the cold darkness, Kid's hollow laugh does nothing but add to my fear. Let's go into the room. These are apparently Lynx's quarters. No one seems to be here, however. "We're right on top of you now, Lynx. Say your prayers, you bastard." Looking around, it's a very dilapidated room. Furniture is thrown about in all directions and almost nothing matches. Taking a look at the room as a whole, there's no sense of harmony whatsoever. It's very suggestive of a chaotic mind. Okay, looks like we gotta search through this mess. I sift through a number of odd items adorning the room. There's a cluttered desk, a painting that's hanging unevenly on the far wall, and a picture on the side table, among other things. In one corner of the room stands a tall, curious object of some sort. A scarlet cloth has been placed over it, covering it up. As I slowly reach my hand out to uncover it, Magil suddenly says, "Please avoid reckless interference." Taking his advice, I return my hand to my side. However, the cloth suddenly starts to fall off on its own. I didn't touch it, I swear. What, did it just leap off all by itself? Kid asked, rolling her eyes. A large mirror has been uncovered, fancifully decorated. It looks to be a high-priced arabesque antique. I got a bad feeling about this. Then all of a sudden, the reflection of the Venus statue opens its eyes, staring at us through the mirror. "Is there something you seek?" the statue's reflection asks in a soft, womanly voice. The voice seems to be coming from the statue in front of me, but only the mirror's reflection seems to be moving. It can talk. "It is a mirror of whispers," Magil says, examining it closely. "What is it, though?" "It is a looking glass that harbors a living spirit. The spirit is free to roam throughout nearby mirrors, able to see into our everyday lives. They are known to be quite wise. Is there anything you wish to ask?" Wow, a million questions come to mind. How do I ask about Kid? "What in the blazes are you asking about me for?" Kid shouts with a red face. "Very well," the statue's reflection says. Ignoring Kid, who's slapping and pulling me, I focus on the mirror. The reflection of the statue begins to ripple a little. Gradually, the mirror fades into darkness. Before long, the jet-black surface of the mirror is filled with what looks like Regiona. One by one, shadows of trees, houses, and people materialize. The mirror focuses in on a young woman surrounded by small children. The children are dirty and poorly dressed, but they're all smiling and playing happily nonetheless. Then, abruptly, the building they're in bursts into flames. Armed troops are all around. Everyone scrambles for a way out, but against her will, the young woman is abducted. The children, however, meet a much darker fate. Time passes. After the fire has burnt the building to the ground, the mirror shifts focus to a small girl covered in soot, crying behind the charred remains of her home. She let loose a blood-curdling scream into the open sky as her right eye narrows like a cat's. "Stop!" Kid shouts. I look back to the mirror, but the image has already started to fade. Squeezing her hand into a fist, Kid slumps downward. The room is silent. "Kid, I'm sorry. Let's go," Kid says abruptly, heading towards the door. Wait for me, Kid!" I shout as I chase after her. Heading back, we travel through the passageway, eager to shake this feeling of dread. After walking a ways, we come to a beautifully decorated set of doors on the left. This is Riddle's room. But we keep on walking. Continuing on through the passage, eventually we come to a branch. We see an upward staircase to the left as well as a stone archway directly ahead. Let's take the stairs. I follow Kid up the narrow set of stairs, hoping not to lose my balance. We've ascended the staircase. In front of us, paths extend into three directions. To the left lies a dark corridor, and on the right path leads to a terrace. This path also continues on ahead. Proceed ahead into the dark passageway. We head down the path. After a while, it ends at a stained wooden door. Let's go in. Guess this is the study. This huge room is faintly lit by the moonlight shining in through a tall window. In the back of the room stands a large, ornately decorated desk. Row after row of bookshelves house thousands of thick, dusty books. A painting is hung on the rear wall, sharing space with various exotic curios. Let's examine the desk. I walk over and open a drawer in the mahogany desk. The drawers contain writing materials and documents arranged in an orderly fashion. Unfortunately, they don't seem to contain anything worth mentioning. But then, a small picture in the drawer catches my eye. It's a portrait of a friendly-looking girl with a faint smile on her face. I hold it up, wondering who it could be. "It's probably Lynx's adopted daughter," Kid says, looking over my shoulder with her nose crinkled. "Pedophile." Suddenly, we start to hear footsteps coming this way. Though they aren't that loud, they boom like thunder in the night. Kid and I jump up. Magil swiftly conceals himself in the nearby shadows. "Quick, under the desk!" Kid and I scurry down underneath the desk. Curling up, I wrap her in my arms. Smaller than I thought." "What? Hey, The door opens with a sudden creak. We sit motionless without making a peep. The quivering light of a candle spreads in from the doorway. Soon after, a hand holding a candlestick comes into view from behind the door. Tightening, I nervously hold my breath. When I look down, my heart skips a beat. With Kid's lips right in front of me, I feel myself starting to lose control. So full and pink and glossy. My heart starts pounding faster and faster. I force myself to stop staring and shut my eyes tight. Whoever opened the door doesn't seem to have any intention of entering the room.
Thought I heard something. No reason for anyone to be in here, though, since the master is away. Still, with those poor southerners on the move, it's never too safe to be sorry.
The door closes softly, covering the room in darkness. Once again, for a while we wait, not moving an inch. The footsteps echo away into the distance. Somewhere in the back of my mind, I can't stop thinking about how great she smells.
Hey, how long are you gonna stick to me like that?
Kid asked, blowing into my ear. Huh? Sorry. I quickly get up, bumping my head against the desk with a loud bang. I crawl out, rubbing my head. Man, that stings. Kid comes out next. Crouching, she looks over at me and says,
"Hey, goof, you alright?"
"Yeah, I'm fine."
So,
Poor is up to something, Magel says quietly, emerging from the shadows. Poor is a large country governing the southern continent. I hear it's a pretty well-developed and fairly prosperous place, but what would they be after in these outlands? Surely not the frozen flame. No matter how valuable it may be, in the end, it's just a jewel, a piece of rock. How valuable could it really be? We leave the study, retracing our steps through the dark passageway. Finally, the passage comes to a three-way branch. There's a descending staircase in front of us, in addition to a passageway on the right and left. The one on the left will take us back towards the terrace.